All right, thanks, guys. We are coming off a perfect 3-0 day yesterday on patreon.com/BrockPage. And that's going to put us at 7-2 in our last 9 daily best plays on that site. The daily best play is just $1.99 per month. We also do a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages on that site as well. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, the Jazz take on the Hornets here today, 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Charlotte. The Jazz are the 6-point favorite, total at 208.5. Now we saw a 1-point move toward Utah and movement downward on the total. The Jazz open as the 5-point favorite, up to -6. Total open 211, down to 208.5. 67% are leaning Jazz, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now, Charlotte is plus 210 on the money line. Charlotte also ranks in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage. Utah, on the other side, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. They rank in the top 3 in three-point percentage. They're also giving up just 106 points per contest. 9 out of Utah's last 14 on the road stayed under the total. I'm going to lean Utah -6 and the under 208.5 in that game. All right, next matchup, Hawks taking on the Nets. 6 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game in Brooklyn. The Nets are the 7.5-point favorite, total at 230. We saw a 1-point fade of Brooklyn and movement downward on the total. The Nets open 8.5 down to 7.5. Total open 232 down to 230. 60% are leaning Brooklyn, 58% shaded toward the under. Right now the Hawks are plus 275 on the money line. Atlanta's right in the middle of a 6-game losing streak. They're also just 6-23 overall for the year. They're ranking in the bottom 3 in points allowed. Now, Brooklyn on the other side, they've successfully covered the point spread in 7 out of their last 10. They also rank in the top 3 in offensive rebounding. They're 8-5 at home this year. Total-wise, Atlanta 11-4 to the over when traveling. Give me the Nets -7.5 and the over 230 in that game. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Bulls taking on the Pistons, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Detroit. The Pistons are the 3-point favorite, total at 213. Now we saw a 2-point fade of Detroit and movement downward on the total. The Pistons open as the 5-point favorite, down to -3. Total open 217, down to 213. 66% are leaning Chicago, 81% shaded toward the over. Right now the Bulls are plus 125 on the money line. Now Chicago's 3-2 straight up in their last 5. They also rank in the top 3 in defensive three-point percentage. They're allowing just 107 points per contest. Now Detroit on the other side, losers in their last 3 straight. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 5 in offensive rebounding. And total-wise, Detroit is 60% to the over at home. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Chicago +3 and the over 213 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's NBA action. But before we dive into some more of that, just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 3-0 yesterday in our premium picks on that website. And that's going to put us at 7-2 in our last 9 daily best plays on that site as well. We do daily premium picks on that site, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to, and we are absolutely red hot right now. Once again, 3-0, a perfect 3-0 day yesterday on that website in our premium picks. Link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and get into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Wizards taking on the Sixers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Philadelphia. The Sixers are the 12-point favorite, total at 230. We saw a half-a-point fade of Philadelphia and movement upward on the total. The Sixers open 12.5 down to -12. Total open 229 up to 230. 66% are leaning toward Washington, 83% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Wizards are plus 650 on the money line. Now, Washington's 10-6 against the spread on the road this year. They rank in the top 3 in offensive scoring. Meanwhile, Philadelphia on the other side, losers in their last 3 straight. They also failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of their last 6. This Philly squad has covered just 7 out of their 16 games played at the Wells Fargo Center. And Washington on the other side, 10-6 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Washington plus 12 and the over 230 in that game. Now, before we go ahead and get into our next game, you're probably not even watching this now. I think just everybody just goes right to the quick pick recap at the end of the show and just fast forwards. But anyway, if it sounds like somebody's being bludgeoned in the background, my wife, she's doing some handiwork right now. She's fixing our bed and screwing, she's not screwing the neighbor, no, she's screwing wood into the, what are you actually doing in there?
Screwing the wood into the bed frame?
She's screwing the wood into the bed frame. So there's a lot of noise, a lot of screaming and commotion. She's not being murdered. She's not, cheating on me with the neighbor while I'm in the house, because that would be weird. At least wait till I leave. But anyway, if you hear a lot of noise and craziness, that's what's happening. The wife is fixing the bed in the other room, and she's not being murdered. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on into our next game. It is going to be Milwaukee taking on the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern tip-off at Madison Square Garden. The Bucks are the 13-point favorite, total at 227.5. We saw a 1.5-point move toward Milwaukee and movement downward on the total. The Bucks open 11.5 up to minus 13. Total open 228 down to 227.5. 76% are leaning Milwaukee, 59% shaded toward the over. Right now the Knicks are plus 750 on the money line. Now New York's just 7-22 overall for the year, 4-10 at home. They rank dead last in scoring, dead last in free throw percentage. The Bucks on the other side, 11-2 when traveling, first in scoring, first in offensive rebounding. They're averaging 121 points per contest. Now, 10 out of New York's 14 home games this year did stay under the total. I'm going to lean Milwaukee minus 13 and the under 227.5 in that matchup. All right, next game. Kings taking on the Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Memphis. The Kings are the 1-point favorite, total at 219. We saw a half-point fade of Sacramento and movement upward on the total. The Kings open 1.5 down to minus 1. Total open 218 up to 219. 65% are leaning Sacramento, 88% shaded toward the over. Right now Memphis is plus 102 on the money line. Now Memphis really struggling at home this year, just 5-11 straight up on their home court. They rank in the bottom 3 in points allowed at home as well, 117 points per contest they're allowing on their home court. Sacramento on the other side, 11-6 against the spread when traveling. They rank in the top 5 in defensive rebounding. Now total-wise, Sacramento 11-6 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Sacramento minus 1 and the under 219 in that game. Next matchup, Clippers taking on the Spurs, 8:30 Eastern tip-off in San Antonio. The Clippers are the 5.5-point favorite, total at 225 and a hook. We saw a half-a-point move toward Los Angeles and movement downward on the total. The Clippers open as the 5-point favorite, up to 5.5. Total open 226 down to 225 and a hook. 68% are leaning Clippers, 74% shaded toward the over. Right now, San Antonio's plus $2 on the money line. Now, if you're backing the Spurs in this spot here, just keep in mind they've successfully covered the point spread in just 8 out of their 27 games this year. They also failed to cover in 11 out of their 15 at home. The Clippers on the other side, they rank in the top 5 in scoring, top 3 in offensive rebounding. They are 21-9 straight up on the year. Now the Clippers are also 17-13 to the under overall for the season. I'm going to lean Clippers minus 5.5 and the under 225.5 in that contest. Next matchup, Rockets, Suns, 9 o'clock Phoenix. The Rockets are the 6.5-point favorite, total at 236. We saw a 1.5-point move toward Houston and movement upward on the total. The Rockets open as the 5-point favorite, up to minus 6.5. Total open 235 up to 236. 66% are leaning Houston, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now, Phoenix is plus 240 on the money line. The Suns have lost 6 out of their last 7. They're also just 6-10 straight up at home this year. They rank in the bottom 10 in points allowed. Houston on the other side, top 3 in scoring, 7-3 straight up in their last 10. They're averaging 120 points per contest on the road. Now Phoenix, 10-6 to the over at home this year. I'm going to lean Houston minus 6.5 and the over 236 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Timberwolves taking on the Blazers. 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Portland. The Blazers are the 6.5-point favorite, total at 229 and a hook. We saw a half-a-point fade of Portland and movement downward on the total. The Blazers open minus 7, down to minus 6.5. Total open 231, down to 229 and a hook. 61% are leaning Portland, 89% shaded toward the under. Right now, Minnesota's plus 225 on the money line. Minnesota, 8-6 against the spread on the road this year. I know they've been struggling as of late, but they're still pretty good against the number when traveling. They also rank in the top 10 in scoring. Portland on the other side, 6-7 against the spread at home, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. Minnesota 9-5 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Minnesota plus 7 after buying the half a point and the over 229.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 3-0 in our premium picks yesterday on that website. And my wife just came out to show me her titty sweat. That's a lot of titty sweat. Now, you probably just skipped to the quick pick recap in this show, but if you had actually watched the entire show, you would have heard drilling, screaming, shouting, and cursing in the background, as my wife is currently, screwing nails into the headboard in our bedroom.
Not the headboard.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing in there, but there's a lot of yelling, a lot of titty sweat, and a lot of noise. So if you skip to the quick pick recap, that's good on you, because that drilling was probably tough to listen to, even worse than my own voice. But anyway, quick pick recap. I like Minnesota plus 7 over 229.5. Houston minus 6.5 over 236. Clippers minus 5.5 under 225 and a hook. Sacramento minus 1 under 219. Milwaukee minus 13 under 227.5. Washington plus 12 over 230. Chicago plus 3 over 213. Brooklyn minus 7.5 over 230. And last but certainly not least, I like Utah minus 6 and the under 208.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 7-2 in our last 9 daily best plays on that website. That package is just $1.99 per month. All right, shout-out to Ziptic, Billy Boogaloo, Jordan Warren, I Saw Sand 72, Young Ho Koo, Mike Klein, Danny D-Rock, Mahaffey, Milagros Tremont, Evil Dax, Kiwi N2, Marvin Castello, T-Trev 30, Ninja Chris, Proline Master, Beanerball 4420, and Beanerball 4420.
Beanerball?
Yeah, Beanerball 4420.
Wiener.
I did not say Wienerball 4420. And last but certainly not least, shout out to Jerry. We the best. No, Jerry, you are the best. All right, guys. Once again, that is going to do it for me. I would apologize for the noise in the background, but I can't apologize for that, because I think a lot of folks take this program so seriously, and you shouldn't. I'm literally just like a regular dude filming on his old ass 16 gig iPad in front of a television. That's it. Like, I get a lot of credit for this program, and it's really, really simple. And literally, the iPad is propped up. It's not even on a tripod. It's literally propped up on an old broken laptop on top of a cigar humidor on top of a chair. I should really film the setup. Actually, I shouldn't film the setup, because if I did that, people would be like, dude, I'm not watching this anymore. This is so ghetto. But anyway, guys, I'm just a normal guy, just like you guys. The wife is in the room, hammering nails into the bed. What is it? The bed frame. And she's cursing and yelling and showing me her boobs. And this is all happening while I'm recording, by the way.
We have a fixed bed.
We have a fixed bed. Thank you so much. I've become quite rotund since I got married. Probably gained, about 50 pounds. So I would say I'm responsible partly for breaking that bed, because my weight, and of course I get the job done in the bedroom, and I know I'm getting old. My wife's in her 20s, but man, I'm a lot to handle. But anyway, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. We went 3-0 yesterday on that site. We do daily premium picks on that site, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages. Obviously, we have a lot of fun here, and we have a lot of fun on Patreon as well. A lot of banter there. You think YouTube's crazy when it comes to the comments and the banter. It is actually, I would say, 4 times as intense on Patreon. It's very personal. The losses are rough. We're very hard on each other, but the wins are great as well. It's a great community, and I've made a lot of great friends on Patreon. So link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Most importantly, guys, I do have to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to... Huh?
And I said, and all the noise.
And all the noise, yes. Well, hey, the bed got fixed. Didn't have to pay a handyman because I got a handy woman.
Right.
I do. But anyway, thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you more on patreon.com/BrockPage.